What's going on, people? GQ of those people. Just wanted to be serious for a moment and talk about this issue here, because recent events have really messed with me emotionally. Before I get into all that, I want to make a disclaimer. Number one, I am 100% aware that all police are not bad police. I know personally a lot of police officers that do a very, very good job at what they do. They have every ounce of good intentions to make sure that everything is on the up and up. They're straight and narrow. They're really great citizens, and they do a really, really good job to make sure that we are all safe and protected. Okay? So this does not apply to all police across the board. The George Floyd murder really, really hits home with me. And for obvious reasons. Number one, I'm a black man. And to me, it is a shame that it's a normal thing for me to go drive in my car alone with my driver's license, insurance, and registration on the front passenger seat, because I am afraid of reaching anywhere where a cop won't see where I'm pulling from, and they fear for their life, and I'm dead. It's a problem when I'm driving in a car, and every time I see a police officer behind me, I fear for my life. I'm always replaying in my head, oh my God, is this the day that now I'm going to be the one that ends up on the news because I was killed wrongfully? You know what I mean? It really, really hurts to feel like this unfair treatment doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. When I say unfair treatment, I mean unfair treatment to black people when it comes to law enforcement. Once again, this does not apply to all police officers. However, I can't help but notice how unfair it is. I'll give you a perfect example. Why is it George Floyd, I guess he was arrested for forgery in progress. A non-violent crime, mind you, right? Excuse me. He was arrested. The 10-minute video doesn't show any type of resistance. And somehow the officer found it necessary to put his neck on his knee on his neck. For some strange reason, the officer found it necessary to put his knee on his neck, the back of his neck, and literally put all of his weight on it until he couldn't breathe anymore. He was pleading that he couldn't breathe. That didn't matter to him. Surrounded by other police officers that did absolutely nothing. I don't understand why all those police officers surrounding him thought it was okay. I don't know why they thought that it was necessary for a knee to be on this man's neck when he presented no kind of threat, because there's 4 of you guys with guns and he's handcuffed. There's no sense of fearing for your life at that moment. I don't understand how that could happen. But then on the flip side, if you look back a few years, Dylan Roof, little white kid, goes into a church full of black congregation members and shoots the whole church up, killing all kinds of people in the church viciously. why did they find it okay to give him a bulletproof vest, take him to Burger King to make sure that he was well fed before taking him to jail? There's no way anybody can sit there and say there's no unfair treatment going on. And it hurts me. I've been pulled over on many occasions. Fortunately, I'm still here. Fortunately, nothing has happened. But I've had some pretty messed up situations. I've had a situation where before I married my now wife, you know, me and her were dating, I was at her house. And one night I was leaving her house going home. I was living with my parents at the time. And this cop follows me all the way home. Mind you, this is a 15-minute drive, give or take. And there's lots of turns from where I'm coming from. So based on all the turns that I've made, there was no way this person was not following me, okay? I get home, I come out the car. I go, "Hello, officer, is there an issue?" He goes, "No, I just wanted to make sure you lived here," and then drove the hell off. There was another situation where I was pulled over. I was coming home late. He pulled me over to a gas station with no explanation. And then he just drove the heck off like nothing happened. No explanation, nothing. He pulled me over, didn't even get out of his car. Didn't have the decency to be like, "You can go." Pulled me over, drove off. Now, mind you, that's not really an extreme situation in my case. But in those two situations, I was terrified. What is it going to take for people to finally understand that Black lives actually matter? That Black lives really do matter. I'm not saying other lives don't matter. Let me make that clear, because a lot of people like to play the card of, oh, Black lives matter, but all lives matter. Yes, I know that. But Black lives are being treated like they don't matter, and they need a reminder that they do matter. That's another story for another day. What I don't understand also is the protests. Granted, there's a right and a wrong way to protest. I get that. But when we have people like Tommy Lauren saying, oh, what is looting gonna do to bring justice? Granted, she does have a point. Looting doesn't solve anything. At the same time, you're the same person that had a problem with us peacefully protesting, with the kneeling, amongst other things. My question is, what do you suggest we do to finally get some type of result? What do you guys expect us to do in order for us to inspire change? Once you have the answer, I'll be very glad to pass that on to anybody else who's willing to listen, and see if it works. But at this point, it's frustrating. There have been way too many lives that have been unjustly taken, and there's no consequences for it. We have an entire, the National Guard guarding this man's home. I feel like that wouldn't be necessary if this man was arrested. Now, granted, if there's an investigation underway, arrest him, investigate the details. If he's innocent, which clearly he's not, you let him go. But to not arrest him when there is a 10-minute video available showing what he's doing, it blows my mind how this man has not seen some type of punishment, especially since he's had a record of killing people unjustly. I don't know if I have a central point for this video. I felt like I just had to get on here. I had to speak because it was on my mind. It was bothering me. And it definitely affects me because every time I get in the car, I got to worry about, is this the day that I'm not going to come home to my family? Is this the day when my wife and my son, my 2-year-old son, loses me? That's another thing. My 2-year-old son has to grow up in a world like this. I'm not just afraid for myself. I'm not just afraid for my wife. I'm afraid for him when he gets older. He has no idea what to expect when he gets older. He has no idea what he's getting himself into in a world like this. I know I'm rambling. I guess all I'm saying is something has to change. Something has to change. And we're not going to be able to inspire change alone. We need to collectively come together and figure out some type of solution, so this could just stop. It's too much. It's been too much, and people are saying that you know, racism is getting worse. Racism has always been bad. Racism has always been prevalent. I think it's just being captured more on camera. That's the end of my rant. I just wanted to speak on what's been going on, and I'm going to sit back and I'm going to see what happens as everything unfolds. Right now, it's way out of hand. Like, just recently, I found out that CNN in Atlanta has been broken into because of protest. I don't know what that solves because, number one, CNN had nothing to do with it, but that's neither here or there. All I'm saying is we need to figure out some type of solution. We need some type of punishment in place for the people that are committing these murders, because that's what it is. It's not police brutality anymore. It's murder. I feel like once they get a consequence, it sends a message to anybody else out there that feels like they could do whatever the heck they want with innocent lives. There's a right way and a wrong way to enforce the law. Once again, I know a lot of police officers that do a wonderful job, but there's a whole lot that aren't. And we need someone to put them in check.